Peptides interest is growing quickly, but growth alone does not create credibility. Today, we focus on what separates responsible peptide programs from hype and what consumers should look for in moving forward.
The very first one is really checking if the peptides are coming from a pharmacy or some general lab. That is like the number one step of it all. So once you know that, then you can start narrowing down. And if it is coming from a pharmacy, you can do your due diligence. You can research to see how credible this pharmacy is. How long has this pharmacy been around? And then when you're out and about, how many people are actually using this pharmacy? Because it might be a nice little sprout up, a compounding pharmacy that just maybe jumped in the game this year because they're like, oh man, let's get into the whole peptide game. This is freaking awesome. They're pretty much relatively new to the game too. And they have to understand the mixing of the peptides. I like to go with pharmacies that have been around for a very long time, who service multiple different type clinics that understand this and not just the pop-up pharmacies. Now, the labs are not under the same rules and regulations. They can source from anybody. They can say whatever they want. And so the pharmacies cannot really do that. I'm not inside. I'm not a doctor of pharmacy. So the ones that we use, I know they're a bunch of white coats and they are walking around in there. This is all they do. So it's very hard. Unless you're in that room, then you'll truly know 100% exactly what's going down. But you can at least do your best to find the most reputable pharmacy that has been around for a while and who other doctors are using or hospitals are using.
I think it's really important to go beyond the marketing because everybody's got the marketing. Everybody's got their stories. Everybody's got their rosy path to success. And so what Jesse's talking about is checking out what's behind the marketing, because if you don't do that, you don't know if it's going to work or not. And everybody's got their anecdotes, their little stories here and there that are wonderful. It works great and they have testimonials, but you've got to go beyond that. You got to go underneath. You got to really dig around. You could be wasting money, time, and even your health.
But if they were doing it on their own, if they're going to a telehealth type, because the consumers, they got two ways to do it. If you're a consumer and you're either going to do it right, which is the telehealth. So you talk to a physician. So if you're talking to a physician, that you're now getting some medical guidance. If you're not going to do that, please don't buy them on the back of a van outside of your gym. That does happen. The only way a consumer can really do it is you're going to go through your doctor or you're going to go through a telehealth. And the telehealth, if they're a true telehealth, then they are fully licensed. They do have medical professionals, and Peptides is the newest thing that they're doing. They've been doing IV drips and TRT, HRT. So go through one of those sources.
People will say our body produces the 7,000 peptides, and these are just natural things in there. They're just simple amino acids. So why, your estimation, Jesse, is it so key that they involve a medical person going down this path as opposed to just going on to Reddit and grabbing something and going on to one of these market sites and buying a peptide because they're just amino acids, natural stuff?
Is because the medical professionals, if they've been doing this for quite a while, they know the questions to ask. And it's not asking about how you feel. They're asking questions about your past. They're asking questions about your past history of any illnesses. That is the biggest part. These Reddit people, they can go and talk to you about, hey, this is what I felt like when I was on a peptide. You should take this peptide because you're going to grow muscle. It's not all about that. And it comes down to the dose too. If you understand the sensitivities of a person, you understand their allergies, this is where the medical professional comes into play. They know what to ask. And if you trigger them with a red flag, they're going to be like, no, don't take it. While the Reddit people, yeah, they might think they know something, but they might not have all the questions. It's the question's the biggest thing.
So, one of the words used often in wellness and medicine today is personalization. But in the peptide world, personalization can mean very different things depending on who is using the word. So we want to get into more of that with you today. So for some people, it means choosing from a menu. For others, it means a real clinical process involving your medical history, labs, biomarkers, symptoms, the goals that you have, lifestyle, and then the follow-up and adjustments. And so those distinctions really do matter. So my question to you, Jesse, is when you hear people talk about personalized peptide therapy, what really is personalized mean to you and what doesn't it mean?
To me, it means what their future goal is. Starting the process now, eliminating the crap out of their life to get to the next point. And people have to understand that part. Yeah, you're going to personalize it. Don't personalize it to who you are now. Personalize it on who you want to be. And first, it might not even be a peptide. It might be cutting out all your sugar, because the peptide is not going to work if you're going to keep on putting that sugar in your body and inflaming the crap out of it. So if you're going to be personalizing it, you're going to have a personalized entire health and fitness nutrition peptide protocol guide. I mean, that's what my consultant does. And my consultant, he personalizes it for them. And he starts off with, we're going to eat right. And they're like, when are we going to start peptides? He's like, that's like in a month from now. And then he's like, we're going to start eating right. Do you understand that? And then, because you do the eating and then the exercising. And then when you get to that level, we're going to add in the peptides. That's the personalization to the specific person. You get their blood test work. And a simple thing is lack of vitamin E or vitamin D. Let's personalize your vitamins. Let's get the vitamin E and D in there. All right. And then at the very end, we're then going to bring in the peptides. You're still going to be doing A, D, and C. We're just adding D. And then from there, we're going to see where you are in a month, 2 months from now. We can repersonalize everything. If you're doing great, obviously, we're going to stay on track. So each personalization will adapt and be different over time. That's to me what the personalization is when it comes to peptides. As you said, everybody out there goes to a menu and they're like, I want muscle. I want this. I want that. You just personalize nothing. No, you just personalize. You personalize lack of money in your bank account. All right, let's personalize it in the real way. So that's my answer to that one.
Really great. I love to hear the fact that you're talking like that, because people want the magic bullet all the time. And the magic bullet involves many different inputs to create the desired results. So I love the fact that you're looking at it from a very holistic orientation, Jesse.
The biggest thing that doctors need to do is they need to do more checkups.
Exactly. Dr. Bob, another question for you. And if you want to help our audience better understand the difference of just collecting, lab data and actually interpreting it, for the individual person, why is it not enough just to simply run all of these tests, but to actually, see what the results are for the individual, the symptoms, the function, side effects, lifestyle, and their goals?
Data is great, except the limitation to data is who's interpreting it and how are they coming up with conclusions that they can draw from data that can help. So as a patient or as a client, you really have to be on your toes to listen carefully to what the person who's interpreting the data is telling you, making sure it makes sense, making sure, and asking questions. A lot of people they're wary of asking questions of people who they think are in authority, or maybe they don't want to come across as not intelligent enough to ask questions. But it's really important to do that, to ask all the questions you can and evaluate the person who's interpreting the data, because that's so vital to help the person get the best results.
Today, we focused on what separates credibility from hype in this industry. For consumers, the takeaway is simple. Ask better questions before beginning. If you're already in the middle of it, ask better questions. Now, it's never too late. Ask better questions. And always remember, everyone, wellness, it's in you.